Hello everyone, Tina here for Papertrey Inc. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me. I have a fun project to share with you using some florals. We're using the Into the Blooms Daisies die set. Oh, this is a layering daisy die set, and I think you can mix and match and layer or not to create tons of different flowers. Nice thing about this set too is not only can you create the flowers on their own are beautiful, but they have long stems, and there are a few half flowers in here. And I'm going to use this on our card today. We're also going to be using a stencil set. This is the Perfect Present Stencil Set Collection, but there's 4 stencils in here that make great backgrounds on any kind of card project. We're also going to be using the Picket Fence die, since spring is around the corner soon, I hope, because it's really chilly over here. We're going to be using this on our card today. Kind of have a little bit of spring fever here. Let's jump in and get started. We're going to start by doing a little bit of die cutting to create those 3D daisies. I used white cardstock today just to die cut out all of my daisies, and we're going to create 3 flowers. So with this set here, we're going to create 1 flower. This set here, we're going to create another flower, and then with this set, we're going to create our 3rd flower. And then of course I cut out a whole bunch of leaves in different sizes. There's 2 different leaves in there, and I die cut out several large and small. Now we're going to start by doing some ink blending. For my leaves, I'm going to use New Leaf ink, and I'm just going to use a blending brush, and we're going to add some color to the leaves. And I always like to add one side that's a little bit darker than the other. And I'm going to do that to the rest of my leaves also. So all of our leaves are colored in. Of course, if you can use colored cardstock, I think the outcome would be just as pretty. I'm going to put these to the side, and then we're going to work on our largest flower first. I thought we would create a blue daisy. We're using Blueberry Sky ink. And I'm just going to go around all the edges. So my blue flowers are done. Now I'm going to go in with the flower centers. For this one, I'm going to use my Summer Sunrise. We're going to add a little shading here. And I want to really darken up one edge to give this a little extra dimension. Okay, so that's done. We're going to put these to the side. Now for this flower set here, I thought we'd make a yellow flower. We're going to use our Summer Sunrise ink. And I'm just going to add some shading. I'm going to create some light and dark areas because I think it just adds a little bit of airiness to our flower petals. I think that looks wonderful. Rather than having a yellow flower center, I'm going to bring in some classic craft ink. Kind of go for a dark brown. And now for our 3rd flower, which is the same flower, I just die cut it out twice. We're going to color this in with our hibiscus burst. We'll add some ink here. And then I'll color in the flower centers. I'm going to add some hibiscus burst to this larger piece. And then I'm also going to add some of my Summer Sunrise to the same piece, turning it kind of an orangey color. And then I'm going to add some yellow to this one's going to have a layered flower center, so we're going to add another yellow. Okay, and then our flowers are all done. All we have to do is layer them together. For this one, we're going to add a foam square to the very back. And I'm going to layer this over the top, kind of crisscrossing it. We're going to add a little bit of glue. And then I'll add the flower center. And then we're going to layer one more center on here, add another dot of glue. And we'll add this flower center. We're going to add our leaves. For this flower, I'm going to add a large and a small leaf. So we'll add some glue here and some glue here, kind of layer them together, and I'll bring the flower to the leaves. And we'll just tack these down. And I'll let these dry. And that flower's good to go. For this flower, we're going to do a little layering also. I'm going to add a foam square to the center. We're going to layer our smaller daisy right over the top. And then I want to add one more foam square. And you can mix and match to your heart's content. That's what I love about this die set. And I'll take the brown flower center and we're going to add this. And then we'll add a couple smaller leaves here. We'll add a couple little glue drops. And we'll layer this over our flower, and then that one is good to go. For my final flower, I put foam tape behind here. We're going to layer it on top of the larger one. We'll take the next layer. I put foam tape here. We're going to add this. Third layer, I added a foam tape here. We're just going to remove the release paper and add that to the top. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. We're going to take our flower center and add it to the top. And then we're going to add our leaves. So my flowers are all done, and now we're going to work on our background. For my background, we're going to start by stenciling directly on our card base. This is where our Papertrey ink Perfect Present Stencil comes in. There's 4 stencils in here. We're going to use the lattice stencil for our card today. I have a standard A2 size card base. I'm going to take my stencil and line it up, and I have a little bit of pixie spray behind here, so it's going to tack down for me. We can actually open this up here. I'm going to use some post-it note tape off. Since we're stenciling directly on our card base, I don't want any color on the back side of my card. Okay, for the background, I want it to be subtle, so I'm using my soft stone ink. I'm going to use my blending tool, and we're going to add some color directly to the background. Soft stone is a very pale gray. It doesn't look like we did anything to our background, but when we remove the post-it note tape and when we remove the stencil, you can see we have a nice lattice background. Okay, we're going to put this to the side. I'm also going to be taking the Picket Fence die. It's a one-piece die that creates this fun picket fence. I'm going to die cut this out with white cardstock. And then while we're die cutting, I'm also going to take a piece of white cardstock and my true black ink. I'm going to stamp our greeting. The greeting, I thought we would make a birthday card. We're going to be using the Birthday Your Way 2 stamp set. And I'm going to stamp It's Your Day. We'll place it on an acrylic block. I'm going to ink this up with my true black ink. I'm going to stamp it on some white cardstock. Lovely. I'm going to take the coordinating die. I'm going to die cut out It's Your Day. And I'm also going to die cut out the fence. We have our greeting. I'm going to put to the side with our flowers. And for our picket fence, I'm going to add a little bit of black detail. Since this is the only item that's black on our card today, I thought we'd do some little black splatters. So I'm going to be bringing in my true black ink refill. I'm going to add a little bit to an acrylic block using a paintbrush. I'm going to pick up some of this ink and we're going to do some splatters. Lovely. I'm going to put this aside to dry. This dries pretty quickly since it is a dye-based ink. I went ahead and put foam behind my picket fence, but before we adhere it, I'm going to take some, just freehanding with my scissors, a little hillside, And what we're going to do is place this on the very bottom of our card base. I wanted some green to peek out from behind the fence. So we're going to tack this down. And then I'm going to take my fence and we're just going to adhere this right in the middle. Next we're going to take our greeting and I'm going to go ahead and place this on our card. I think that's a good spot. I'm going to take my florals. We're going to add some glue behind here. And we're going to tack these down. We're going to add all 3 flowers. After we have our flowers adhered, we're going to finish off our card with a little bit of sparkle. I'm using some Papertrey ink Rainbow Gems. And we're going to add a little sparkle to the center of each of these flowers. I created a bow with some white twine and I put a glue dot behind here. I'm going to add this just to this side of the card where the bows are, just for a little bit of added texture. And then that will finish off my card today. A nice springy card. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a lovely day and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.